I'm back in the archive room as we begin to go back in the church's history. So we're sort of starting from the position of the last part of the addition or building of the church into those things that preceded, which means the education wing, which came after the initial sanctuary was built, is our next sort of evolution of the church to see what was planned and then what was executed, and then back to the original sanctuary, and eventually back to the church meeting in the basement of the parsonage, with some other little things thrown in here and there. But that's sort of our trajectory over the next few weeks. So in the archive room, this gives us a good perspective of what the plan was. So this just represents the plan, not necessarily what ended up being there. But you can see the original sanctuary is present here, and this represents the wing that was to be added, which I'd have to look at the number of windows to see if it matches up. This to me looks a little longer than it actually is, but that could just be the scale of the drawing and how it is perceived on that drawing. So this is the main floor, and within that you can see the space that is now the kitchen and cafe, how it was originally to be a parlor and the chapel transept. And then next to it is the youth room, which is actually where I am right now. So the archive finance room is what here is pictured as the youth room, and the Wesley room is the preschool room, which it still has some evidence of having had that function, as does the nursery next door. So we have the bathrooms here and the bathroom between the two spaces used for our youngest children, and then the door between that nursery and the choir room. That was what the original purpose of the outer office, the current outer office. The pastor's office is where it was planned to be, and the extra office also it remains there. And it says religious education. So this would have been probably the office for those programs related to religious education here in the church, so maybe the superintendent's office. So this represents then the downstairs of this space, so that's that which is below level. And we have the fellowship room, so this is the fellowship hall. Why? Because above was the sanctuary, so beneath was the fellowship hall. And on the back of it is the kitchen. So here is the doorway in and out, the kitchen on the back side, where now there is a stage and storage related. And the kitchen now is in this space, which just says janitor. And then we have some other classrooms here related to how they saw them being used. So kindergarten, a grade room, junior assembly, scouts and juniors, junior high assembly. So the basement plan, the first floor plan. And that was the addition for the church here. I'm going to add some other photos to help you see this. So here it is in construction. So here's the sanctuary. Here is that next evolution of the church in construction. You can see it here sort of as an addition on this side, the original church here and the construction here. But it's interesting to see how the rooms were planned to be used at first, particularly on this main floor, versus how they've been adapted over time and repurposed. So a little bit there as we head back in time.